Hi everybody, Playtendoguy here and welcome to my review of Dark Souls Remastered. What took it so long? That was the first thing that came into my head when I first played this remaster of the brilliant first game in this treasured trilogy. It was a given the game would appear on current gen consoles, but it surprised me it took 5 years into this generation for the game to finally come out. But nevertheless, the wait has been well and truly worth it. As you know, Dark Souls was a phenomenal game all the way back at its launch in 2011, and 7 years later, the game is still pretty phenomenal now. The main reason why Dark Souls was and still is so enjoyable is just how brave and different the game is to others on the market. It's hard as nails, it's not afraid to hold your hand throughout the game, and it's also one of the most rewarding experiences in gaming. You're chucked into the deep end with no real clue why you're here in this world, and the story itself is pretty vague, so you don't really know what's going on. But this all adds to the charm of the game as you work your way through the game, learning the way the game plays, and once you get that rhythm going, there's nothing quite like it. But as you go through the game, you have to keep your wits about you as Dark Souls is tough. Punishingly tough. The game is a cruel mistress that likes to put you through the mill. You will see the game over screen over and over and over again throughout your playthrough, but with each death you'll learn the harsh ways of this world, and once you eventually conquer the challenging foes in this game, the feeling of pride and accomplishment is second to none. As for the story, you go through the game and you then slowly get pieced together the story, but you certainly will need some effort to work it out. You meet a few NPCs along the way throughout your journey, but most of the game you'll be exploring it alone. There is multiplayer here, as you can call on other players to join your game to help you out with the game if you're struggling. You can also join other players' games to help them out if you wish. The remaster also increases the amount of players in a session from 4 to 6, which is a nice little extra. Previous online aspects like bloodstains, leaving messages for other players, as well as invading other players' worlds to hinder them are still all present and correct. As for the changes this remaster brings, and it's your fairly standard run-of-the-mill remaster. The graphics have seen a nice improvement, and while it would have been nice to see a full-on remake like the recent Shadow of the Colossus game, it's still a sharp-looking game on current-gen consoles, if a little dated. The game's framerate has been greatly improved, from the barely 30 FPS of the original to a constant 60 FPS. The most noticeable area in the original version that suffered from terrible framerate problems was Blighttown, as its framerate was all over the place from the low 10s to 20s. It was a bit of a mess, but now this issue has completely disappeared as it all runs at 60 FPS with no problems whatsoever. The same also goes for the whole game as it sticks to the 60 FPS cap and never drops once during my playthrough of the game. The game has also seen some nice little glitch fixes and quality of life improvements to make for a much better gaming experience. Also custom for most remasters, Dark Souls also includes all the previous DLC and it's interwoven into the game, which is nice. Conclusion time now, and Dark Souls has finally received the remastered treatment, and they've done a pretty good job with it, as the game now runs at a locked 60 FPS and all the visuals have been spruced up, as well as fixing small issues and adding some quality of life improvements to make for the best version of the game to date. Dark Souls is still, after all these years, a very challenging, rewarding and incredible game, so with that, that's why I'm giving Dark Souls Remastered a 9 out of 10 with the title of brilliant. Thank you for watching my review, like, rate and subscribe, and until next time, happy gaming. Bye!